Maggie Alderson, welcome to Booktopia.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here. Not so much my own. I don't think I really have any secrets. I'm not that exciting, but I'm very, very good at keeping other people's secret. If somebody says to me, "Don't tell anyone," and it is a secret, I keep it, and then I found out that they've told 100 other people, and I feel like a dope. But I believe in that saying: if you want to keep a secret, don't tell anyone. This has sort of become a technique, but I stumbled upon it by accident. I think I was writing probably my third book, and because obviously as an author I'd rather do anything other than write it, I was leafing through a copy of Good Weekend, and there was this full-page picture of this incredibly hot young guy, surfery sort of dude with no shirt on, and he had a tattoo where you shouldn't, and he had scars, and I thought, hello. So I tore it out and I stuck it up over my desk just as a bit of a pin-up. and a few pages later, or I'm not sure how much later, maybe a few chapters later, he walked into the book. No plan for this character of this like bad boy, but in he came. I thought that was interesting. So when I did my next book, I had an idea. When I start a book, I have an idea of the main characters, but all the other characters, I wait for them to arrive. And I just tore out pictures and found the characters visually first. And I think because I was a magazine editor before, I am quite a visual person. I do love looking at pictures. And I just find that they help to get that unconscious part of my brain where it all happens without us looking. Just seems to help that to work. And so I start each book with a mood wall. And I will go looking for pictures of some characters, and then others I just find. It gets easier in some ways and harder. I mean, it gets easier that I've developed this technique of the pictures, which really helps me. And I've also have this thing where I create a playlist for each book. And when I get into my office, I immediately put the playlist on, and when I hear the particular song from the first notes, I'm in the zone. So I've developed that kind of thing. But in other ways I find it harder because I know how much work is involved at the back end. So I have I love the drafting of the first draft is amazing. I love that. But then I know I'm looking down the barrel of a gun at the editing, and it slightly fills me with dread sometimes. So it gets easier and harder. There are actually more than just the 3 secrets that the sisters are keeping. There are other characters in the book who are also sitting on these things that they're keeping inside to their detriment, and some of them is wanting to protect. Some of them is just of not quite knowing how people will react and not feeling safe to reveal it. But there's also a big issue of shame. I think that's possibly a bit of a theme of shame about a situation that you've got yourself into, and you feel like you've let yourself down, you've let everyone, you've let your family down by association, because if you reveal this thing about yourself, they'll all look bad. Sometimes you think, oh, it's better just to get it all out in the open, but there's it's the unknown. You don't know how people react, and it can be a relief, because keeping a secret takes a lot of emotional energy, and you're filtering everything you say in case a tiny little thing creeps out. And I think people don't realise the toll that it takes on them, and so sometimes it feels like a release. I've known situations, I've observed situations in people's relationship where someone has, come out and admitted that they've had an affair just for the relief of unloading it, but then it just so much hurt and damage. Maybe it would have been better to have kept it. There are some secrets in the book which are better to stay secrets, and then there are others when the timing is right, and you have to see what shape the person who's going to be most affected by it is in. So there are so many variables within it, but I think what came out for me through writing that and exploring all those different angles of it is that what it really came down to, as you said, is love, and the family do really love each other, even though they test it through their behaviour to themselves and to each other.